There's nothing wrong with who you are. At your core, you're not broken, unworthy, or beyond repair. But the truth is, many of us feel that way. We live as though something inside us is fundamentally flawed. The problem isn't with our being. It's with our relationship with ourselves and with life. And that relationship was formed long ago, when we were children. As children, we didn't have the power to challenge the world around us. We couldn't question the messages we received. We just absorbed them. If love was conditional, we learned to perform for approval. If anger or sadness were punished, we learned to hide those feelings. If our parents were inconsistent, we learned to walk on eggshells, always scanning for danger, never feeling safe. So we made decisions about ourselves. I'm not enough. I mustn't upset anyone. I'm too much. And those early decisions quietly became the blueprint of who we thought we were. Over time, they solidified into beliefs that now run the show from the shadows. And sitting right on top of those beliefs is the inner critic, a voice we absorbed from the past that continues to shame, scold, and control us. It says things like, "You should have known better. You're so stupid. You'll never get it right." Sounds like a part of us, but it isn't. It's an echo of someone else's voice, a voice we internalized when we were too young to know any better. And this inner critic keeps our inner child small, frightened, and compliant. It keeps us from living freely, from taking risks, from showing who we really are. So how do we change this relationship? How do we break free from a script that was written decades ago? It begins with awareness. Start to notice how the past shows up in the present. Notice how those moments of shame, those waves of anxiety, those reflexes to apologize when we've done nothing wrong, when those feelings arise, ask yourself, whose voice is this? Because these moments aren't proof of weakness. They're signs that your wounded child has been activated, calling out for your care, not your criticism. This is where reparenting begins. Reparenting means learning to give yourself now what you needed back then. It's about developing an inner nurturing parent, a voice that says, "You're safe now, I've got you, you're doing your best." This parent provides warmth, understanding, and compassion. But we also need a tough love parent, the part of us that protects boundaries, stands up to the critic and says, "That's enough. You don't get to speak to me like that anymore." Healing happens when those two functions, nurture and discipline, work together. The nurturing parent soothes and comforts the child. The tough love parent defends and sets limits on the critic. Together, they create safety. They rebuild the inner family that was once broken. Over time, your adult self becomes what we call decontaminated, freed from the old beliefs that once defined you. You start to grieve the losses, the love you didn't get, the innocence that was taken, the years spent living under false assumptions about who you are. And grief, though painful, is cleansing. It clears the space for truth to emerge. Through this process, something extraordinary happens. Your inner child, once silenced, begins to speak again. You rediscover curiosity, creativity, and joy. Your inner parent, once absent or cruel, becomes strong, kind, and wise. And your adult self finally steps into alignment, able to make choices from freedom, not fear. This is reparenting. It's not about becoming someone new. It's about repairing the relationship between the parts of yourself that were forced apart by pain growing up. It's about learning to live as one integrated whole, where the child feels safe, the parent feels capable, and the adult feels free. So when the inner critic speaks, pause, take a breath. Imagine standing between that voice and your vulnerable child. Say, "No, not today." Then turn to the child within and say, "You're safe now. I'm here with you." That's reparenting in action, moment by moment, conversation by conversation, breath by breath. And as you practice this, you begin to feel something you may not have felt in years: peace. Not because the past is forgotten, not because you've learned to hold it with compassion. You've reclaimed your power from the inner critic, and you've given that power back to the part of you that always deserved it, your true self. That's what identity healing looks like. Not the search for who you should be, but the return to who you already are. If you'd like help rediscovering your identity, visit my website. Book a free discovery call. Let's see what's possible.